Okay, let's dive into this, because today we're tackling a massive headache for, well, pretty much anyone looking to buy a vehicle right now. We're going to figure out exactly how to find 5-star safety for under 5,000 bucks. And we are going to do it without settling for some high-mileage Honda Civic that's been absolutely abused by a teenager. Seriously, stop looking at those. Instead, let's focus on what we're covering in this explainer. We're digging into some serious insider knowledge that 22-year veteran mechanics swear by. These are the secrets that can literally get you 100% reliability on a zero budget.
So why are we overpaying for brand names? Just think about what happens when you walk onto basically any used car lot in America today. It's the exact same scenario playing out over and over. You've got a line of buyers literally fighting over a 2021 F-150, or getting into crazy bidding wars over a RAV4. And why? You know why. Just for the brand name. They're signing up for price tags that look like actual mortgage payments. But while everyone is completely distracted by the shiny, overpriced stuff right up front, they're missing the reliable gold mines sitting totally ignored in the back row. You really have to contrast the two options here. On one hand, you have the ultimate financial trap, paying top dollar for a mainstream, high-mileage model with a mortgage-sized price tag. On the other hand, you've got what veteran mechanics affectionately call back row beauties. These are the vehicles sitting there, dusty, ignored, marked down twice, simply because nobody under 30 wants to be seen driving them. But the potential here? It's massive. We're talking about cars that have 300,000-mile potential, needing nothing but basic oil changes and brake pads to run forever. Okay, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The used car trap. 2. The disguised Ford Ranger. 3. The V6 Workhorse. 4. The anti-Toyota SUV. And finally, 5. Mastering mechanic math. Section 1. The used car trap.
Right, so it is absolutely crucial to understand the foundational concept of how everyday buyers are getting ripped off at the dealership, really just by following the crowd. The reality of the market right now is that almost everyone is paying what we call a familiarity tax. It's a massive price premium you pay simply for a popular brand's badge. It has literally nothing to do with the underlying engineering or the quality of the parts. It's just a tax for peace of mind that, ironically, leaves your wallet completely empty. This exact tax is why first-time buyers and young professionals are going broke trying to afford heavily used name-brand vehicles.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the solution, which we call mechanic math. This is the practice of buying the underlying engineering. You're looking for simple platforms instead of paying for a recognizable logo. By shifting your thinking to mechanic math, you're focusing on the total cost of ownership. The vehicles we're about to look at, they cost less than a semester of college textbooks to keep on the road. You're going to save thousands over the life of the car.
Section 2. The disguised Ford Ranger. All right, let's look at our first hidden gem, the Mazda B series. Specifically, the B2300 model from 1994 to 2009. This situation brilliantly illustrates the sheer absurdity of the used car market. Most people don't even know the Mazda B series exists, or if they do, they think it's some weird import that'll be impossible to find parts for. But here's the secret, it is literally just a Ford Ranger with a different grille. Honestly, that's it. They were built on the exact same assembly line in Minnesota, they share the exact same frame, the exact same engine, and the exact same transmission. The only difference is the badge on the tailgate, but that badge dictates a completely different, much lower price tag.
Let me give you a real-world example of how this plays out. There was this young guy starting a small business, and he only had $4,500 in his pocket. Total. Using mechanic math, he was pointed toward a 2008 Mazda B2300 with 142,000 miles. He scored it for $4,200. Now, sitting on that exact same lot was an identical Ford Ranger, but with more miles, and it was listed for nearly $7,000. I mean, wow. That is the familiarity tax in full effect, and exactly how you beat it.
Let's talk about what you actually get under the hood of that B2300. You get the 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder engine. Mechanics consider this one of the most boringly reliable engines ever made, and trust me, boring is exactly what you want here. It uses a timing chain instead of a rubber belt, which means way fewer expensive replacements. There's no complex turbocharger to blow up and fail on you. It just uses simple port fuel injection that works day in and day out. It's designed to prevent those expensive failures down the road.
If you're going to go out and buy one of these, you really only need to do two things during your inspection. First, get under there and check the frame right behind the rear wheels for rust. Second, turn the key on a cold start and listen closely for any rattle coming from the timing chain. That's it. If it passes those two simple checks and feels solid, you've just bought yourself a 25-year truck for the price of a riding lawnmower.
Section 3. The V6 Workhorse.
So, moving on to our second gem. This is the truck that essentially built half of America's small businesses, the Chevy S10 from 1994 to 2004, specifically the ones equipped with the 4.3-liter Vortec V6. Why do mechanics absolutely love this specific engine? Well, because it's basically the legendary Chevy small block V8, just with 2 cylinders cut off. It's incredibly simple, the replacement parts are available absolutely everywhere, and because of that, repairs are dirt cheap.
$2,800. To put that into perspective, that specific number is the actual purchase price a veteran mechanic paid for his own Chevy S10 over 11 years ago. And in that entire decade plus of driving it, all the truck has ever needed was a new fuel pump and a starter. Just think about that. That is the absolute definition of a low total cost of ownership.
Let's drive this home with a direct comparison, because this is the ultimate smart buyer move, especially for a first-time driver. If you go out looking for a Toyota Tacoma from the exact same era, you're going to pay $12,000 or more. And honestly, that's even if it's in bad condition. It's an absurd Toyota tax. But apply mechanic math, and you can find a remarkably clean Chevy S10 for under $5,000 all day long. The deep functional value of the Chevy is just undeniable.
Now, just like with the Mazda, there are a couple of specific things you want to check on your test drive. Number 1, grab a flashlight and look closely at the intake manifold gaskets. You're checking for any coolant leaks. Number 2, inspect the cab corners carefully for rust. Honestly, if the body is solid and those gaskets are dry, that powertrain is probably going to outlive us both.
Section 4, the anti-Toyota SUV.
Now, I know some of you want something a bit more modern, something that doesn't drive like a 90s tractor. For that, we look at the second-generation Mazda CX-5 from 2017 and newer. And I know exactly what you're thinking right now. You're saying, but I want a Toyota, because everyone says only Toyotas are reliable. Well, it is time to challenge that myth. According to Consumer Reports, Mazda actually holds the top title for reliability now, not Toyota. The CX-5 is what we call the mechanically bulletproof anti-Toyota. But here's the beautiful part. Because it doesn't have that Toyota badge, it depreciates rapidly, which makes it a massive steal on the used market.
So, the crucial point here is the number 5,000. That is the massive upfront savings you can expect when you buy a used 2018 Mazda CX-5 compared to a RAV4 from the exact same year with similar mileage. You're literally keeping $5,000 in your pocket while actually buying the more reliable vehicle. How crazy is that? Let's look at why it's so reliable. Mazda did something absolutely brilliant with their Skyactiv 2.5-liter engine. They kept the engineering delightfully simple. While other modern brands were busy adding complex turbochargers and those fragile, continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, that constantly slip and fail, Mazda stuck to a traditional 6-speed automatic. They kept the engine naturally aspirated, and they used a timing chain designed to last the lifetime of the vehicle. In fact, just recently, a mechanic inspected one with 158,000 miles on it, and the original spark plugs still had life left in them.
Plus, the interior on the CX-5 is way nicer and more premium than anything Toyota puts out at that price point. And it honestly handles like a sports sedan. When you go to inspect one, the mechanicals are really stout, so your main checks are simple. First, test the infotainment knob in the center console to make sure the previous owner wasn't too rough on it. Then, take it out on the highway and feel for any vibrations that might indicate worn motor mounts. If it drives smooth, you've definitely found your next car.
Section 5, Mastering Mechanic Math. All right, let's zoom out for a second and summarize this core philosophy we've been unpacking today. The secret to outsmarting the dealership isn't about some sneaky negotiating tactics. It is about buying engineering over badges. It's about recognizing that completely identical parts can carry wildly different price tags and making the conscious choice to save your money and avoid the headaches. So, I leave you with this final provocative question. Are you ready to look past the badge and let mechanic math secure your next decade on the road? The used car jungle is absolutely full of traps, but if you look for the disguised Rangers, the V6 Workhorses, and the anti-Toyotas, you can win the game. Remember, if you take care of your car will take care of you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.